What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. And today we're going to be going over part 2 in our beginner series. We're going to be going over how to create drum patterns. What's up, everybody? This is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Today we're going to be going over the second part in our beginner producer series. This is going to be going over drum patterns. First, before we get into that, I just want to quickly mention that one of the most important aspects of my speed and my workflow is a key command. And whenever people see my key commands, me do this in my videos, they're like, yo, what's the name of that key command? And the thing is, guys, you guys gotta kind of stop being so damn afraid of the settings. Okay. If you go to file options, let's see, I'm sorry, if you go to file, where is it? I'm sorry. If you go to Studio One and you go to options, you can under the general tab, you can edit your keyboard shortcuts. Now, here's the thing. Studio One's an amazing program. When I came over, I came over from Logic. You can, whatever DAW you came over, except for FL Studio, they haven't added those key commands, but you can use the Studio One key commands, you can use the Cubase key commands, the Logic key commands, or Pro Tools. You can also import your own, but this is I use a modified version of Logic, and what that means is there is you can search for any feature in here, right? So for example, there's a command that I use to chop my hi-hats really fast, and it's called split it grid. Let me get rid of that equal sign. So split, and then you'll see it come up here. You can, there's one for split it cursor, split loop, split range, split it grid. And what I do is, in order to make a key command, you can just select, you just basically press a key that you want. Right here, you just click that, press enter key. That's telling me, oh, that key is already assigned to record, so I don't want to use that. So let me go ahead, backspace assigned to delete. What if I use the plus? Okay, the plus is open, so I just go ahead and assign that. Boom. And you guys are going to want to do the same thing, and this is just a good exercise to kind of get you familiar with as you go through and you discover the DAW and you find different functions that you were like, man, I wish there was a key command for that. You can absolutely assign it, because bruh, anything that you find in this right click menu, you can create a key command for all of these events. It is completely customizable. You can make your own key command for anything. So, into creating MIDI patterns, and more specifically drum patterns. First of all, if you want to create a pattern, all you got to do is double click. Hold on, my hard drive is gonna boot up. This external hard drive that I got, do not buy a phantom drive. They are so slow. It is so ridiculous. It irritates me so much. Do not buy a phantom drive. Anyway, you can double click in the arrange window and it's going to create a MIDI region for you. If you double click on that MIDI region, it's going to bring up the piano roll. All right. And this is where you're going to be. This is where the magic happens. This is where you're going to be programming your stuff. Now, what if you want to make, a longer section? Notice this little triangle up here, this little grayed out triangle. This is your loop section. All right. So say I wanted to make a section this big. If I double clicked in the middle of it, boom, it's going to make that section for me. Click and drag to the left and right. You can move this section in the arranger window real easy. So what I like to do is I like to make 4-bar loops. And as long as you drag your mouse up here and just click and hold, you can create this loop. Now, this loop section, if you press C, will and it's highlighted blue. When you press play, it'll loop that. All right. So the first thing that I do is I'll just put my snare down. I'm working in double time, so my snare is going to go on the 3 beats. All right, and then if you want to duplicate something, just highlight it and press the D button, and it'll duplicate it right there. Boom! Now you're working fast. When you're using sample 1, you're gonna want to program all your stuff at C3 because that's where the center of the sample sits. And you can tell if you open up sample 1. By the way, if you want to see a VST that you're working with in the channel, just click on where this little keyboard is. That's your instrument editor. It'll pop this up. Now you'll see that the root note is C3. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play this now. Okay, boom. So the next thing I want to do is start creating a kick pattern, and I'm going to change. You see how I've got this this grid split up into parts? Okay, so imagine the FL Studio step sequencer, or you know what? Let me just we can pull up a. Let's pull up let's pull up an image of it, right? Let me get a good picture of this thing. I should have did this before. This is pretty corny of me, but all right, here's a decent picture of it right here. Okay, so if you look at this, you see how this alternates 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a gray, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4 red, then 1, 2, 3, 4 gray, 1, 2, 3, 4 red. What that is that's the grid split up into 16th notes in Studio One, right? What this is if you look at it, this is 1, 2. Let me just delete this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 red, 1, 2 or gray, 1, 2, 3, 4 red, 1, 2, 3, 4 gray, 1, 2, 3, 4 red. That's all that is. So when you have those little blocks of 4, that's what that's telling you. Every four one of those blocks is a beat. So you have your 1 beat, your 2 beat, your 3 beat, your 4 beat, and then it repeats over. So that's how you got to kind of picture the piano roll in your mind next, and kind of reconcile it with the step sequencer. Now, the cool thing about working in the piano roll and not using the step sequencers, it's really easy to switch resolutions. So like, for example, when I'm in double time, I program all my kicks in 8th notes, right? It just makes it easier. So I'll go ahead and just lay down this kick pattern right here, and then I'll highlight it, press D, and then boom. All right, so now if I want to lay down a hi-hat pattern, I could just go ahead and lay down one long note and then press that plus key, which was my split at grid function, and boom, now I've got a straight hi-hat pattern. Okay, now if I want an 808 pattern that matches my kick pattern, all I have to do is press click this region right here, hold down Alt, because when you hold down Alt and you click and drag something, that's copy and paste. All right, key command for copy and paste. Now if I listen, I've got my 808 going. Okay, now if I want to, now all I got to do is double click here. All right, now I'm using my, I'm in the 808 and the piano roll. And if you want to make this piano roll big or small, this can be any size. If you got 2 monitors, you click this button right here and it'll detach the window for you. So, you know, this is very similar to FL Studio, and you could drag it over to another monitor if you wanted to, so you could work on 2 monitors. If you want to bring it back into here or make it full screen, now you can have a full screen piano roll. You know, however you like to work in the piano roll is fine. So here I've got my 808 up, and if you want to switch in between channels, so you kick your snare, your kick, you know, however you want to work, you know, whatever you want to work on. So right now I'm working on my 808. I want to change, you know, I want to change some notes here. Now I want to make a, say I want to make a glide note, and I like the way this sounds, so I figure, you know, I'm going to stay in C. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this scale. These are scales right here, right? I'm going to change it to the natural minor, and I'm going to click this button right here next to the scale. What this is going to do is this is going to quantize my notes to the scale, so I can't play an off note, which is beautiful. So if I click here, it's going to automatically move me 1 note down because this note isn't in the C minor scale, right? So that enables me to just click randomly in the piano roll, but be in tune, which is amazing because it takes the whole guesswork out of, oh my God, I got to know a scale to, no, you don't have to know no scales. You could just be creative. So I want to make an 808 slide right here where this kick comes in. I want the kick to go a little lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this underneath here. I'm going to click on the instrument editor. Whenever you see this keyboard, that's how you bring this back up. Now, in order to engage glide, I'm just going to click glide. Okay, I'm going to change my pitch bend range to 12 semitones, and I'm just going to adjust the time to taste and see how this sounds. Now let's see, I want to be able to adjust this as I'm playing. So if you want to, Studio One won't by default, it won't let you keep a plugin out on, you know, on your display window. But if you want to keep it out, you know, and then still click around on things, all you got to do is press this button right here, and that'll pin this to the screen. So let me listen to this. Let me see if I slow the glide down to a second, see what that sounds like. That's not enough. That's way too much. So I just have this little. All right, so that's cool. Now, say if I want one of those like obnoxious glides or bends from FL Studio, a quick way to get it is to go to where this says pitch bend right here, and then just draw it in like an like an automation curve, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and just draw that in real quick. See what this sounds like. Okay, cool. Now if I want to mess with my hi-hat pattern, I can just go to where I have my hi-hat, and this is why it's important to name your stuff. So I want to go ahead and add some rolls to the hi-hat. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to change my resolution, get that get a couple 32 note rolls going, and I just click this, press my key command for split grid. Click this one, press my key command for split grid, and see what it sounds like. All right, and if I wanna do like a little pitch automation, like say like some 808 Mafia stuff, you know, I could just go ahead and draw that in under this pitch section. Click on my instrument tab again, change this to 12 semitones so we get a more obnoxious sound. Okay, and I like that, so I'm just gonna again highlight all those points, hold down Alt, you'll see the hand signal change, click and drag this over to this section, see what we sound. Okay, good stuff. Now I'm gonna go ahead to my open hi-hat section, and I'm gonna want to, you notice there's no I can't click in this region anywhere. There's no boxes to click on. And what we need to do is we need to create a MIDI section here. So we're gonna need to go back to our arrange window. So we're just gonna stick this down here and double click right there. Again, we're still in this piano roll, and I want to put let's see, I'll change this back to eighth notes. I want to put an open hi-hat on every 4 beat, but on our template we don't have this saved as an open hi-hat. So all I got to do is I have this folder that I've already routed that has open hi-hats in it. Let's see what this one sounds like. Put the release up so we hear the whole sound. Okay, I like the way that sounds. Let me turn this down a little bit. Remember, when you're working with your sounds, always adjust the volume as much as you can inside the plugin, and then go to the mix tool and then go to the mixer. So I've got my drum part laid down. My little 4 bars is jamming, and now that I've got that set, it's a little 4-bar part. It's pretty cool. But say I want to add some more variation to it, and make it a little bit more intricate. So the trick that I use is I'll highlight everything, and I'll go ahead and I'll press D, right? Then I'm going to highlight all these, select, go to event, and select merge events. And I'm just gonna go into, say, the hi-hat section, and I'm going to, let's see, we'll take this section, draw this out, set this to 8th triplets. Okay, and then for the snare, change this back to 8th notes. Pretty cool. And then for here, I'll go ahead and change this to 16th notes. All right, and say this beat is too slow. I wanna speed it up. Just hover your mouse over the tempo and use your scroll wheel to make it a little faster. Let's see, we'll be at 142 now. All right, so I think that's too fast. Let's go to 135. All right, so that does it for drums. As long as you got your template set up. Again, the template is the most important part of this process. Most important part of beat making, most important part of mixing, most important part of productivity. So if you guys haven't watched the template video, it's in the playlist. Go ahead and check that out. I know it's 30 minutes, but watch that whole 30 minutes and I guarantee you it's going to save you hours, even over the cumulative time, days of your life. So this is Concrete Zebra. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the next one.